and welcome to Retire Smart Maryland. My name is Cynthia Defazio, and I'm joined today by Prashant Sabapathi of Elite Income Advisors. Prashant, how are you today?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you for asking, and it's always a pleasure to be in the studio with you because obviously life has been busy, things have been busy, the office has been busy. Let's talk about the new office right off the bat.
Yep.
Ellicott City.
Yep.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so my partner Ozzy and I, we opened the office in Ellicott City. It's a big, beautiful space, and we have our entire team there, big conference rooms with huge TVs so everyone can see their plan up close and personal.
Yeah.
But it's been great, and the response and the feedback from our existing clients as well as the folks who are coming in to visit with us from our show every week, it's just been tremendous. So a big thank you to all of our clients and all the folks who conduct business with us. But we're very excited to have the new headquarters in Ellicott City.
Very exciting indeed. And what road is that off of, Prashant?
It's right off of Snowden River Parkway and Route 100. So very convenient, easy to access, a lot of parking right outside the building. So, it's been really good.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, the shows have been so successful for you, and we know the book is just amazing. I love this, The Fiscal Health, Retirement Wealth.
Right.
We talked a little bit about perhaps you doing a second one, which now we're setting the tone and we're planting the seeds for that. So you're going to have to.
Yep. It's something that I've always wanted to do. And writing the first book, this one, the pandemic kind of gave me an opportunity to do that since we couldn't really, do a whole heck of a lot. So spent the pandemic writing this one, and as long as I can find the time, I'd love to do another one.
Sure.
So we'll see.
I know you're quite busy. Well, today I'd love to talk to you a little bit about something that's so important for planning for retirement. The income planning piece specifically. That is so important, probably the most important thing, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think retirement is not about how much money you have. It's about how much income you're going to have coming in and whether that income is going to provide you with the lifestyle that you've dreamt of as you head for retirement. And so I talk about this in the book. Having a real income plan in place means that you know exactly how much income you're going to have coming in each and every year before and after taxes, and making sure that that income is indexed for inflation, and making sure that it's always going to be enough to live your most fulfilling lifestyle when you get to that phase of your life. So if you have an income plan in place already, you should be able to answer those three things. How much am I going to have before and after tax, index for inflation, and is it going to be enough? And if you can't answer those three questions, maybe it's time to have a second look at that income plan and really revise it to answer those three questions.
Well, let's talk a little bit about something that people are concerned about, the retirement income gap. Prashant, what is it and what causes it?
Yeah, so a retirement income gap is when you can add up all of the sources of your reliable income in retirement. So maybe you have a pension, maybe you have Social Security benefits coming in, but let's just take a hypothetical example. If we have Social Security and pension coming in, and that gives us $5,000 a month, but we know that our fixed expenses and our wants and our needs in retirement total up to $8,000 a month. Then if we only have 5 coming in and 8 going out, then we have a gap there. And so how do we fill that $3,000 a month income gap? And that's where we can do some real planning. Maybe we take a look at how much you have in the portfolio and how we use that portfolio to reliably create the type of income that you're going to need to live your most fulfilling and best life. And that's what the income gap is. So we have to be able to identify it. And once we identify it, we have to be able to solve it. That is the key, in my opinion, to unlocking your most fulfilling retirement.
So when people are coming in and they're sitting together with you, Prashant, obviously talking about what their vision is for retirement, is it important that they're transparent with you with what their monthly expenses are? And I mean everything, even your Amazon habit, your Starbucks.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just using my own.
Exactly, yeah. We want to build a plan ultimately that is accurate for you. And we want to make sure that when we build that we're a good fit for you. Because I'll tell you what, we are a good fit for a lot of the folks that come in to visit with us, and they do end up becoming clients. But In some cases, we're not a good fit for people, and that's okay, because when you come in to visit with us, it's no cost and it's no obligation, which is always a good thing, but want to make sure we're a good fit for you. And part of that is putting together an accurate retirement plan that takes into account all of your spending, just like you said. And so we need to identify whether or not that income gap exists. And the only way to do that is if we have a great understanding of what needs to be going out the door on a monthly basis.
That makes sense. So what about paying off debt as you're heading towards retirement?
Yeah, it's a great question. I actually did a video series on this. You can find it on our website. It's www.eliteincomeadvisors.com. Look for the video series that I did called The 7 Financial Blind Spots. And one of those blind spots is debt in retirement. Do we pay it off, especially things like mortgage debt and credit card debt? Do we pay it off, or do we carry that into retirement? And it's all a function of your income. Now, in a perfect world, we want to be debt-free before we get to retirement. But if you do have to carry debt into retirement, student loans, mortgage, whatever it is, if you have to carry that, we need to make sure that you're always going to have enough reliable income to be able to service that debt even through the retirement phase of your lifetime. And so if that is a concern for you, like it is for so many of the people that come in to visit with us, if you're concerned that you don't have an income plan, if you're concerned about debt in retirement, these are the things that we can help you look at as you get to that phase of your life.
Let's recap that just a little bit. So coming in, someone's sitting with you and they're going to ask you a question, Prashant, should I pay off the mortgage?
Yep.
I don't want to have a mortgage in my retirement.
Right.
What's your philosophy on that?
Everyone's different, and it depends how we're going to pay it off. I actually had someone come in the other day, and they had about $1 million in retirement accounts, which means that all of their money was either in a 401k, a 403b, or an IRA account. And so every time they take money out of those accounts, what do they have to do?
Pay taxes.
They have to pay taxes.
Yeah.
And so they owed about $200,000 on their mortgage. They said, well, we have $1 million here. Why don't we just take it out and pay off the mortgage? And I said, I'm not really sure about that, because do we have an understanding of your tax bill if you were to do that? And they said, wow, we didn't really think about the tax side of it. And so there is no cookie cutter advice that we can just give out on TV every week.
Yeah.
What it requires is that we have a true understanding of your unique situation, because your situation is different from your coworkers, it's different from your brother-in-laws, it's different from your neighbors. And so the advice you get from those people, while it may be good for them, it may not always be good for you, which is why you need to come in and visit with us.
Well, Prashant, I know that you have a very special offer to present to the viewers at home. Let's talk about what that is before we open the phone lines.
Yep. So it's exclusive for the first 10 callers who can call in and grab a spot for a visit with us in our brand new office in Ellicott City. Now, you should call into the show, okay, and book that time with us if you're concerned, like so many of other clients that have come in to visit with us, if you're concerned that you don't have a pension and you don't know where your income's going to come from in retirement, or maybe you're concerned that taxes are going to eat up that income and you won't have enough to live your entire life, or maybe you're concerned that you don't have a written plan in place. If you can share in those frustrations, then pick up the phone and give us a call. The phone number is 833-308-5200. That's 833-308-5200. It's an exclusive opportunity to get in to visit with a professional on a no-cost, confidential, and complimentary, no obligation basis. So first 10 callers only for today's show.
Prashant, thank you so much. To the viewers at home, the phone number to call is on your screen. That number is 833-308-5200. What Prashant is offering the first 10 callers today is the complimentary portfolio review, complimentary consultation. Let him take a look at what you currently have in place, and are you on the right path for retirement? If not, wouldn't you want to know today? All you have to do is pick up the phone and call 833-308-5200. We have to take a very short commercial break, but I have so much more with Prashant as soon as we return.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan. This is a $999 value that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have by running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go, and who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review today.
And welcome back to Retire Smart Maryland. My name is Cynthia Defazio, and I'm joined today by Prashant Sabapathi of Elite Income Advisors. Prashant, a wonderful show that we're having today, and obviously talking about such an important topic, planning properly for retirement.
Yep.
So we've talked a little bit about income planning because that's so very crucial to have that income coming in, of course. But what about when you're planning to leave money to your loved ones? Let's talk about legacy planning a little bit.
Legacy planning is so important, especially lately. I've been hearing the words generational wealth more than I ever have before. And that's good. How do we set our children up or our favorite charity or nonprofit up to have a generational amount of wealth so that it can be transferred? And I think one of the biggest parts to this is managing taxes on inheritance. Okay, so there was a rule that was changed a couple of years ago, and it eliminated the stretch IRA. It was actually a part of what was called the Secure Act. And so the stretch IRA was when you could inherit from a non-spouse person, you could inherit IRA and retirement accounts, and you could stretch out those distributions that you would be forced to take from those accounts over the course of your lifetime. But that rule changed, and so we'll see how the legislation is going to change in coming years. But the tax treatment now is that you may have to disperse that inherited IRA over a 10-year period of time.
Wow.
And so if I get left $1 million or $1.5 million, it's an awful lot of income that I have to take out on an annual basis, potentially, from those accounts. And so that creates a drag on how much real wealth is actually able to be transferred. And if we can take steps today to manage that drag on those assets, then that is a proactive thing that can help us down the path of really transferring generational wealth to the next generation and beyond.
Do you have a lot of questions regarding that from your clients that are coming in to sit with you and one of the team members?
I think it's more of a conceptual thing. People understand or folks know that they want to transfer money, but they simply don't know the best way to do so within the rules. Okay, so whether that's looking at Roth conversions to eliminate taxes for the future, maybe it's having a real distribution plan in place, maybe it's using tax advantage or even tax-free benefits in retirement to set up your legacy plan, which there's a lot of different ways to do that out there. Those are the types of things that we go through with folks. So they maybe don't know the best way to do it, but they know that they do want to do it, and that's what we've been able to have so much success in helping people through that part of their retirement planning and legacy planning process.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about estate planning, if we could, for a moment.
Yeah,
I know you have a lot of people that are wondering, what is the difference between a will and a trust? Can we talk a little bit about that, Prashant?
Yeah, so think of a trust as kind of very specific instructions as to what is to happen to your money when you pass away. You can make it as simple or as complex as you would like to make it. Now, oftentimes to get a trust done, you're going to go meet with a licensed attorney or estate planning professional who can help you prepare those documents. A will just kind of goes through what happens to your property and guardianship of children, those types of things. A trust tends to be a little bit more ironclad, is how I like to think of it, and we get more control in using a trust in terms of what we want to have happen when we pass away. Now, look, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't kind of get into the fully the legal side of the preparation of the documents or anything. I'm not licensed to do that. But with that being said, we will work with your estate planning attorney, or if you don't have one, we can recommend one or a couple to you so that you can find the best fit for you when preparing your estate.
Okay, thank you so much. Excellent. I love the fact that every time that we're together on the show, we're obviously talking about so many different pieces and parts that go into that holistic retirement plan. Prashant, what have we missed? Have we missed anything?
Inflation is a big one these days. I feel like every single person that comes in to visit with us, I always ask, you know, what caught your attention about the television program? Was there a specific topic that you heard that caused you to pick up the phone and give us a call? Taxes, inflation, and the market are the three biggest ones. But inflation lately, because I feel like we can't go into a grocery store or a retail store or the gas pump and come out of there paying, you know, anything less than what feels like a tremendous sum of money. And that is a concern. That is a real life concern that folks are challenged with today, is what if that type of inflation and those types of costs keep rising through my retirement? And we have to be able to address that by looking at your investment mix, putting together a portfolio that not only keeps up with inflation but outpaces inflation, but we have to be able to do that in the lowest risk way possible. And so that's why I think all of these different puzzle pieces have to fit together. We can't look at inflation alone. We can't look at the market alone. Every one of these things has an impact on another part of your financial plan, and you need to be aware of what the impact is going to be.
Absolutely. You mentioned something very important about having it be something that could weather any storm. Do you also recommend that as people are getting up in age that they become more conservative with their investment style?
So what we talked about in segment one was the income gap, right? So we need to identify whether you have an income gap first, because I'll tell you what, if you had all of the income that you could ever want or need coming in, then does it give you a license to maybe take a little bit more risk with your money so that we can gear it towards growth? I think it does. But conversely, if we don't have enough income, then we may need to get more conservative as we age, because we're going to rely on that portfolio to generate that income. So believe it or not, I have 80-year-old clients or 85-year-old clients that are really aggressive with their money, but it's only because they know that they have enough income coming in to live comfortably for the rest of their lifetimes. I have 50-year-old clients that are ultra conservative, and they're conservative because they know that they're going to need every penny of that portfolio to give them the income that they want and need in retirement. So it's different for every single person. There is no cookie cutter advice. That's why you have to come in, visit with a professional, and make sure that your plan is up to speed.
Well, Prashant, this is the perfect time for us to reopen the phone lines. Would you agree?
Yeah, let's reopen them. Let's do it.
To the viewers at home, the phone number to call is on your screen. That number is 833-308-5200. What we're offering you today to the first 10 callers only is a complimentary portfolio review, a complimentary consultation. Come into the office, let Prashant and one of his team members take a look at what your goals and your dreams are for retirement. If you're not on the right path for the retirement of your dreams, wouldn't you want to know that today? All you have to do is pick up the phone and call 833-308-5200. We have to take a very short commercial break, but I have so much more with Prashant when we return.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
And welcome back to Retire Smart Maryland. My name is Cynthia Defazio, and I'm joined today by Prashant Sabapathi of Elite Income Advisors. Prashant, I love this part of our show specifically because we have viewer questions.
Yeah.
And every time we open up the phone lines and people are calling in, they leave questions behind. So do you think we should spend a little bit of time going through them?
Absolutely. This is what the people want, so let's do it. Yeah, I love this.
This is a great segment for us. So this is a great question. It says, Prashant, I've heard you mention this before, that losses hurt more than gains help. Can you explain that a little bit further?
I love this question, and thank you for asking that one. Look, it all comes back to recovery horizon. That's what I like to call it. I don't know if that's a colloquial term, but recovery horizon means that every time you go through a big market loss, how long is it going to take us to recover those losses, right? And so think about it. If we have $100,000 and we lose 50% of that, we have $50,000 now,
Yeah.
right? And if I gain 50%, I only have 75, right? And so we can look at that for $100,000. We can look at that at $1 million. Either way, how long is it going to take us to get back to even?
Yeah.
Now, while we're working, while we're younger and working, we're in that accumulation phase of our lifetime. Every time the market goes down, it really presents us with an opportunity to buy some more by dollar cost averaging. However, when we get to retirement, we're now oftentimes relying on that portfolio to generate income for us. And if my $1 million now becomes $500,000, I not only have to recover back to $1 million, but I may have to take income out at the same time, which makes it really difficult to recover all of our lost capital. And so that's why I think losses hurt you more than gains help you. And as we get into retirement, we need to have both an investment plan and an income plan in place that mitigates the risk of losing money, especially if you need income.
Okay, Prashant, thank you. Excellent response to that question. This is a great one as well. It says, Prashant, I do not have any children to leave money to,
Okay.
and I am not married.
Okay.
Do I need legacy planning?
I think everybody needs some kind of legacy planning. What do you want to have happen with your money when you pass away? We have so many great clients that are involved with nonprofit organizations and charitable organizations, and they want to leave money to those organizations when they pass away. And so it doesn't necessarily have to go to a family member or a human being. We can do a lot of good with that money by putting it to a charitable place when you pass away. And so everyone needs to at least look at what a legacy plan would look like.
Okay.
And that's going to be dependent on your goals, right? And it just goes back to what we talked about in the last segment. Your friend's plan, your neighbor's plan isn't always the best plan for you. It needs to be custom tailored for your situation. And that's what I love about what we do, is really custom tailoring these plans for people.
I love that too. It's not cookie cutter. It's not one
Yeah.
size fits
Right,
all, which
exactly.
is fantastic. This is a great question too. Prashant, I've heard you mention the importance of a portfolio review. What is the difference between a portfolio review and rebalancing?
Great question. And when we do a portfolio review, I'm big, and I talk about this all the time, investing with a risk budget. Okay, so what we do is we like to ask everyone, how much of your retirement savings could you lose before it made you feel uncomfortable? If you have $1 million, $500,000, $250,000, you need to have the answer to that question. And I think the early part of 2020, when the economy was shutting down, COVID was here, it forced people to reconcile their feelings with how they truly felt with losing money. Okay, we saw markets go down pretty significantly, and you probably lost money during that time if you were participating. And so if we were to go through something like that again, how much could you lose before you begin to feel uncomfortable? Once we know that, we're going to analyze your portfolio and give you kind of like a best case or projected best case and worst case scenario. And if we find that that projected worst case scenario is outside of your tolerance for taking that risk, then that's almost like an immediate red flag that needs to be addressed. And so rebalancing is just, balancing the risk within your portfolio, balancing the assets that you have in the portfolio, but doing a real risk analysis allows you to understand what your best and worst case scenario is. And when we compare that to your tolerance, that's what allows us to figure out whether or not you are properly positioned. And by the way, people come in to visit with us and they find that they are properly positioned, which is great.
Yeah.
But a lot of people come in and find that they're taking a heck of a lot more risk than they thought they were. And that is something that we can proactively address through the financial planning process.
Okay, Prashant, thank you so much. We have about 1.5 minutes left of the show. I think we have time for one final question. Prashant, I'm 5 years away from retirement. Is it too late for me to start a plan?
Absolutely not. Pick up the phone, come in to visit with us, especially if you've never been in to see a financial planner before. It's a great opportunity for you to come in, take a look at a real income plan, take a look at whether or not you have an income gap. Understand how Medicare is going to play into your retirement. I mean, that's a big deal that not enough people are looking at. So no, it's never too late to get started. Actually, being 5 years away is the perfect time to get started, because now you have plenty of time to implement that plan, put it in place so that you have peace of mind, which I think is the most important thing.
I 100% agree with you, Prashant. Peace of mind and being able to sleep at night.
Yeah, no kidding.
So thank you for another amazing episode this week. I know I've truly enjoyed it. The audience has as well.
Thanks.
To the viewers at home, the phone number to call is on your screen. That number is 833-308-5200. We know you have questions about how to plan your perfect retirement. Prashant has the answers for you. To the first 10 callers today, he is offering you a complimentary consultation, a portfolio review. That number once again is 833-308-5200. Be safe, be happy, and be blessed. We'll see you back here 1 week from today.